Hey, what's up everyone? James from Junkyard Fox. Thank you so much for joining me. And today we're going to be testing out the Trustfire MC5 flashlight. So I've been testing this light for about 8 months. Trustfire was kind enough to send me both this one and the MC1 model. And if you saw my review on this light a couple of months back, you'll know that this was a home run. This is an exceptional EDC style light. So will its big brother have the same results? Let's find out. Thank you for joining me. Let's get started. Okay, so we have about 15 minutes before the sun sets, so let's go ahead and get the specs out of the way. The overall length is 4.5 inches with a diameter of 1 inch. The weight with the battery included is 5 ounces with a rechargeable proprietary cable, and you attach the cable through this little magnetic spot right there. It comes with a 21700 lithium-ion battery, magnetic tail cap. It has a battery level indicator. It's drop resistant up to 1 meter and waterproof up to 2 meters. And it does have 5 modes, which I'll show later on once the sun sets. And it runs you currently about 70 bucks, though I do have a 10% discount. If you're so inclined to use it, I'll have it in the description box down below. Save you a couple bucks right there. Okay, so night has come. It's nice and quiet out here, so let's show the different modes in action. So first things first, and I know the lighting is pretty crappy right now, that's on purpose, but what I like about this light is it's easy to navigate. It's user-friendly. It's not overly complicated. So you just click on the button for about a second, and it's going to power up. And then you just click on the same button, and you're going to cycle through the different modes you want, unless you want to access strobe. So for strobe, we're going to turn it off, hold it down for a second to turn it off, and then hold it for 2 seconds. And there you have a strobe mode, and it's 33,000 lumens, so it's one hell of a strobe mode out here. And then you click it once and it'll take you back to your last setting, which I had it on turbo. So let's bring it down to moonlight mode. And I know you can hardly see it on camera. To be honest, it looks far better through my naked eye than through the camera. I'm hoping to upgrade my camera in about 2 weeks, so hopefully this is going to get a little easier to translate. But this is moonlight mode. It is 7 lumens. It lasts you 252 hours with the max distance of 10 meters. Once again, 7 lumens isn't something too powerful if you're lost in the woods or something like that, but reading notes, reading maps, rummaging through your backpack, through your vehicle, this is going to help you locate what you're looking for without overbearing and hurting your eyes. So once again, this little moonlight mode right here, it's pretty good. And though it's not my preferred choice, if this is all I had and I'm stuck up in the mountains, I like it. It actually works in a pinch. It's not my first choice, but it's a nice wide light. And I personally gravitate more towards wide lights than something more narrow, more laser focused, in my opinion, because there's thorns and snakes and all kinds of stuff out in the desert that you got to look out for. So anyway, let's move on from moonlight and let's click it once. And it takes you to middle. Now middle is 160 lumens. It lasts 19 hours with the max distance of 70 meters. This is a little bit more powerful. Once again, it's not my first choice if I'm like stuck in the wilderness in the middle of the night, but it does provide a good range of visibility. Once again, that's what I like about this flashlight. It's a wide berth of light. And now let's click it one more time so we can go to high. And high is 550 lumens. It'll last you 5.2 hours. This is a nice flood of light right here. Nice and wide. Pretty good. 550 lumens is good right here for, you're out in the wilderness, something like that. And, it's a good trade-off between a good range of lumens and at the same time, it's going to last you a while. It's not going to burn through your battery quickly. And then last of all, let's click it one more time. And we have extreme bright setting, basically their version of turbo. And this is 3,300 lumens. It'll last you 215 minutes with the max distance of 362 meters. And this is power. 3,300 lumens is really strong. And once again, it provides such a wide berth of light. That's what I like about it the most, honestly. Really good stuff. And I'll show it in action right now. I'll be walking around in a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick walk around this little hill area just to show it in action, just a little bit more motion to the review. And this, once again, is Moonlight. This is just 7 lumens, so it's not my preferred mode if I had to navigate through the wilderness in the dark. This is more of an indoor kind of light if you're rummaging through your tent or something like that. But in a pinch, I would rather use this than the light on my cell phone. It does, once again, as I mentioned earlier, it does spread out pretty wide. So I like that because out here in the desert, there's thorns and spines and creepy crawlies during the summertime. So I want a wide berth of vision rather than something that shoots very far. Now let's go ahead and move to the next mode right here, the middle. This is getting a little better, 160 lumens right here. And then let's go ahead and click on high, 550 lumens. And once again, I mean, this camera doesn't do it justice, just how wide that spread of light is, that flood. And I really like that. And then let's click it one more time. And here we have turbo, 3,300 lumens. This thing illuminates like crazy. Really nice. Now, one thing to note, and I didn't even realize this until Mark Young. Check out Mark Young's YouTube channel, a fellow from Canada, really awesome gentleman. But he mentioned, and I didn't realize that until he said it, is there's no way to reach the extreme bright, well, as we call it, turbo. You have to cycle through the modes. There's no like double click and it's going to bring you there automatically. And that can be viewed as a con. That can be viewed as a negative because if you need to blind an attacker, you're going to have to cycle through these modes as opposed to like a quick double click, like a lot of other companies that reaches the turbo right away. So once again, he didn't really like that too much, and I can agree with him. I could definitely see the drawback in that. But yeah, I mean, other than that, 3,300 lumens is nothing to scoff at. Good range of illumination and wide flood. Now, of course, because it's extremely bright, it is starting to get pretty warm in my hands. It's not burning me or anything, but as always, you know, you want to use the turbo, or the extreme bright as they call it, sparingly. You use it too much and it's going to overheat the battery, and it's going to be eating up the energy on your battery as well. So yeah, pretty bright. But yeah, I think for the average, I would rather use it kind of like on the high. Whoops. Something like this. So I get a good mix of, you know, a good amount of lumens, 550 lumens, but at the same time, it's not just eating through my power. Okay, so final thoughts on the Trustfire MC5 flashlight. I gotta say that I am conflicted because there are some really good features here that are impeded by some goofy decisions that honestly should have never left the factory floor. So first things first, let's talk about the pros. I like the price. It's about $70. I do have a discount code if you're so inclined to purchase it. I'll have the link down below. It'll save you 10%, so it saves you a couple bucks. So it makes it something of a budget-friendly light that's able to shoot up to 3,300 lumens. I think that's pretty damn good. Second thing, it's user-friendly. It's not overly complicated. I like that, easy to use. Magnetic tail cap. It's not necessary for a larger light like this, but it definitely doesn't hurt. As for the cons, there's only about 2 or 3. There's one big one that really drives me nuts, is this stupid pocket clip. There's no other way to put it. Whoever designed this clearly does not carry a flashlight themselves, because this is just dumb. I mean, what's going on here with it being halfway through the flashlight? Like, you put this in your pocket, half of it is sticking out. Now, say you're out hiking or you're working outside, you're a construction worker, oil field worker. This thing, as you move up and down, it's gonna little by little shimmy out, and you're gonna drop it, and you're gonna lose your $70 flashlight. And that to me is just inexcusable. This is poor design choice that should have never made it past prototype testing. Hell, this should have never made it past sketching, to be honest. All it takes is a couple of seconds to realize you could have flipped this over, click it here so it goes this way, and it would have been a deep riding pocket clip that would have made this flashlight far superior. I mean, I know I'm ranting right now, but this really drove me nuts. The only reason I'm not considering this a deal breaker is because for me personally, I place this on the side pocket of my haversack, and it fits in there snugly, and whenever I needed to use it, I would just pull the lanyard to access it. But not everybody has that, so placing this in your pocket is going to be a no-go. Even placing this on MOLLE webbing in your pack, once again, half of it is sticking out, is just poor design choice here. It's just stupid. Other than that, there's another thing that I didn't even think about until Mark Young brought up. Check out Mark Young's YouTube channel, a gentleman up in Canada. He's a great guy, and he did bring up the fact that there is no way to immediately access the extremely bright mode. So, you know, you need to scare off some animals that are in your campsite, some raccoons, or God forbid you're in a rough side of town and, you know, you need to scare off, you know, an attacker or robber, whatever the case may be, someone that broke into your vehicle. You're going to have to click this 4 times to get to the extremely high setting, as opposed to just, you know, holding it down for a second or two and then, you know, having it turn on. Now, I'm well aware that, you know, these onboard computers can only do so much. So if that's the case, get rid of that damn strobe. Get rid of the damn strobe, and then instead we can just replace that, hold this for 2 seconds, and then we can get that extremely bright, or turbo, let's face it, that's what it is. And that would be an easy fix as well. And then last of all, one thing that I do find a little odd is there's such a wide gap between high and extremely bright. So high is 550 lumens, and then it jumps to 3,300 lumens. That is such a wide berth of lumens that I think there's like a phantom setting. There should have been a setting that would go up to 845 lumens or 900 lumens. So that way, if you needed to go high, you have something nice and bright, but you don't have to jump all the way to 3,300 lumens, which may be extremely overly bright, and it's going to be eating a lot of the battery of your flashlight. So I don't know, I think it's such a wide berth. I think their high is more realistically a medium compared to other flashlights, and there's a missing high setting, in my opinion. Something around 845 lumens I think would have been good, and then you could have jumped all the way to, you know, the extremely bright setting. So all in all, I think the Trustfire MC5 is a good light. I don't think it's a great light. I think this light is far overdue to have an MC5 V2 version that's going to fix this stupid pocket clip and have a better balance in the settings, as well as have immediate access to turbo. So that's about it for me, folks. Big thank you to Trustfire for sending this to me, and I know this is probably not what they wanted to hear in a review, but I think it's just important to keep it real with all of you guys, including them. Give them honest feedback so they can turn around and get back and make a better product, because so far this brand has potential. I really like their smaller EDC light, but this one, I just think there's a lot of flaws to it. But if you don't think there's any issue, if you're fine with the way it is, once again, I'll have the link down below where you can purchase it, and you can save yourself 10% when buying it. And that's about it for me, folks. So, as always, thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, comment down below, and I'll see you guys next week with another video. Now go outside and get your boots dirty.